Hi there, this is Diecast channel, and in this video I'm going to do a review on this 1956 Ford Fairlane Sunliner, made in 1/218 scale by ERTL American Muscle. So stay with me to the end of this video. Don't forget to subscribe my channel in case you haven't subscribed yet. Give me your thumbs up and share this video, and also click the bell for news. So let's unbox this car and take a better look at its details. Ford Fairlane Sunliner, that's the convertible model made by Ford. And 1956 and 1955 were very similar. They shared about the same body with some minor differences from 1955 and 1956. 1955 had a different grille with different parking lights that used to be rounded instead of rectangular. That are these ones for 1956. But they were at the same place in the grill, and the grill also had a square mesh that was formed by tiny squares instead of rectangles. The trims, the headlights, the tail lights were basically the same. The tail lights were slightly different, but they were pretty much similar to 1955. Trims on the side. The interior looked pretty much the same. It had some minor differences. The major difference from 1955 to 1956 were safety features that 1955 Fords didn't have, started having back in 1956. This car was equipped with a 312 V8 engine, but the range of models Ford offered at the time was very wide, from mainline going to custom line. That was an intermediate line, and then Fairlane. And in Fairlane we had Sunliner, which were the convertible cars, and the Crown Victoria, that was the top of line. And then this name was used in the latest Ford sedans that were the Crown Vics. These cars were considered intermediate at the time instead of being full-sized. And when Ford Galaxy was launched back in 1959, Fairlane became the intermediate car and Ford Galaxy became the highest trim. This model car made by ERTL, it's an old casting, and it's a very old model in my collection. But it's very well preserved, as we can notice by the good quality chrome, the good quality paint, and the car really looks like brand new. But this car has been with me for at least 10 years, and when I bought it, it was used. It's painted in a very nice color. It's a very nice and realistic color. It has very good wheels and tires with those wheel covers that reminded the ones of Ford Thunderbirds. Since 55 and 56 Fords were promoted as looking like and being powered like Ford Thunderbirds. And Thunderbird was a brand new success by Ford that was launched back in 1955. So we're going to take a look at this model car and its details. The 312 V8 engine that gave this car a pretty good performance at the time. This was not a hot rod, but it was a pretty fast car back in the 1950s. And this was an intermediate size concerning American standards of 1950s. Nowadays, it would be a big car even in the United States. The engine that looks very good. This air filter pan looks a little bit plastic, but it's not bad really. And the hinges, which are the thicker ones, the simpler ones, don't look bad at all. The hood, pretty well made, and the engine bay is pretty well made with radiator, the engine and its details, and the front panel and the adjustments are pretty good. Pretty good car for a basic to intermediate model. One more view of the engine. Valve covers are painted black. We can read Thunderbird, since this was a Thunderbird 312 V8 engine. The intake manifold and the engine are made in red, which was the color for those engines at the time. We can see the battery, but no cables, no wires. And the two exhaust manifolds, they're made in metal color. Very simple. When we look at the interior of a car, we see one of the advantages that you have in a convertible diecast model car. We can look at the interior with much more clearance than closed-top car. Anyway, this car looks very nice from the inside. It's all made in plastic, but doesn't look like cheap plastic. These seats not only tilt, but they also adjust backwards. They are a little bit painstaking to adjust, so I'm just going to leave them the way they are. Right now, we can see this cover for the top. That's pretty realistic. The interior is all made in red and white, and it looks pretty according to its time. And the dashboard looks very charming. Reminds a little bit the dashboard of a Ford T-Bird with all gauges that were made with chrome bezels and decals to mock the gauges. We have a gear lever. That's a 3-speed automatic, 3 in a 3, and a steering wheel with the chrome trim for the horn. Bench seat and the front, traditional, simpler hinges, but still very good. It's a Thunderbird styled interior. Very well adjusted door, nice wheels and tires, nice logos. Handle is a separate part and the mirrors in the right proportion. From the passenger side, the radio, buttons, knobs, trim on the dashboard, and the logo on the glove compartment lid, which is fixed. It's a pretty good car. It's a pretty honest model. It's a well-made, simple model car. Just like the other side, the door is pretty well aligned and adjusted. So the rear of a car that's pretty 50s and pretty Thunderbird looking. We can notice that the taillights look pretty much like the ones in the Thunderbird. Same way as a rear bumper. But the rear bumper had those exhaust tips that were a sort of a complaint from customers to Ford back in 1955 and 56, since those exhaust tips were starting to rust bumpers. They were heating up and cooling down too many times, and those bumpers were starting to deteriorate right here in the tips. The rear badge, that's made in plastic, and a trunk lid that unfortunately is fixed. Earl's very good undercarriage with a very nice reproduction of the body-on-frame car. We notice the chassis, mufflers, the engine, transmission, front and rear suspensions, differential, shocks, exhaust tips, going all the way to the bumpers. As I said before, all its details were very well reproduced in this car. Front wheels steer, but the front and the rear suspensions are fixed in place. They do not have coil springs, they do not work, and the drive shaft does not spin. Perhaps in a newer line they would have all these features. The engine and transmission still look a little bit plastic. Perhaps they should be painted. This should be painted engine red color, and this probably would be aluminum color, and the mufflers in a gray metal color, but looks pretty okay and pretty realistic. It's a very good base for a very Ford Fairlane Sunliner for 1956 was a very stylish car. It really reminded of a Ford T-Bird. I've actually seen a picture of a Ford T-Bird with this trim, a little bit too heavy for a car, but it looked nice, really. It gave a very nice detail to that car, but I still think it looks better than in a Fairlane than in a Ford T-Bird. In a Fairlane, it looks very stylish, and a two-tone paint looks awesome. These logos, this one that reminds of Rocket and the Sunliner, are made with decals with a very good quality, and the chromes have excellent quality. For 1955, those parking lights had a rounded shape, and they were positioned at the edge of a grill in here, and the grill was divided into tiny squares, and it was also surrounded by an opening that went all the way around it. For 1956, it was divided in rectangles and looked this way. Logos, some trim, some details from the inside were a little bit different from 1955 to 1956, but the rest of the car was pretty much the same. What I've read about is from 1955 to 1956, some parts in the interior of a car started being cushioned so they would offer a little more safety to occupants in case of accidents. Car companies were starting to have this sort of concern at that time. The wheel covers remind those ones of a Ford T-Bird, and this car is stylish as a Ford T-Bird, by the way. It looks like a grown-up Ford T-Bird, since this is a 5-seater and a Ford T-Bird From 0 to 10, I would give it a 9. I think it deserves a 9 as a pretty good casting. It's a basic to intermediate model car, and it's made with a very good quality. It's got very good emblems, badges, and they are all in the right proportion. Chrome trims are very well made. Wheels and tires, bumpers, steering wheel, interior, the paint, they're all made with a very good quality, and we can notice that they are in a very good shape. This car has been in my collection for at least 10 years, and it was already a used model when I bought it. Still looks great, like a brand new model car. That proves that ERTL has used very good materials when producing this model car. So I'd like to thank you for all likes and views, for all subscriptions. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel in case you haven't subscribed yet. And also let me know down in your comments what you think about the video and about the car. And don't forget to give me your thumbs up and share this video. That helps the channel a lot. And click the bell for news, and stay tuned for the next videos that are about to come. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.